did the x-ray, the doctors for the tooth, the doctors would say, it seems like you have an infection up in here, like some dark areas, like we can't even really tell what it. And he asked me, he said, do you have like, thank you very much, you guys, for stopping by. If this is your first time, I welcome you and strongly advise that you subscribe, like the screen below says, subscribe for updates. Yes, subscribe, and not only do you want to subscribe, but you want to hit that notification bell so that every time I put out a video, you're the first to receive notification of my new videos. Please subscribe. Thank you. And for those of you who are returning and continue to return, I thank you so much, so much for coming back to support. Now today is somewhat of a story time, and I don't want it to be too long, but I thought that if I share my story, and if it even helps one person or a few persons, you know, I'll be very happy to know that I've helped somebody. It's an allergy story. I've been suffering with allergies for a very long time, and at one point I did not even know that it was allergies, because back in the day you only knew about cold and about flu and things like that. So I had no idea really. I knew that for a little while that something wasn't quite right, but you know, you keep going to the doctors and the doctors are telling you this and the doctors are telling you that. So it's very good, guys, for you to know yourself and know what's going on with you, because the doctors don't know you like you know you. So you have to just keep pressing until you get the right help that you need. And this is how it started for me. It started from way back home in my country, where I know that there were some times when I would get a little bit of a sniffle, but I'm saying, but this is kind of different from like a cold, you know, that would prevent you from going to work. And I would just say, this cold seems like it's like a mild cold. That's what I used to think. And the problem didn't exacerbate until I got to this country. And for those of us who are from overseas, you may be able to relate to my story too, because sometimes you come to a different country, or you go to a different country, and you have to live in certain households and different type of situations that you are not really used to. Back home, we're open to the, you know, we're exposed to the open air, having air flowing in and out. You open your windows, your doors, your whatnot during the daytime or nighttime, because you have the grill, the bars or grills on your windows and whatnot. But anyways, free, cool air flowing. Not that you don't have pollution back in the third world countries too, you know, because some people really, some countries they do have, or I don't know where now you don't have pollution, but there are some places where it's worse, or for different countries they have different triggers. But I'm telling you, for this particular country and where I was living, you know, where it was cold, especially during the winter time, it was cold. And then when you get to fall, it was cold. You know, only in the summer I'd be very, you know, like comfortable. But anyways, this winter, I remember I was just having some bad issues. We're living in a, well, my quarters was in a basement area. And I noticed that I had this cold, and it's like the cold, it wouldn't go away. And I would be coughing and just coughing and spitting up and coughing. And, you know, I said, what's this? We bought every kind of cold medicine that we could think of, or any kind of cough syrup. It was mostly a cough and like spitting up, you know, sputum. Let me make sure, let you all know that if you are kind of a squeamish and don't like to hear kind of a disgusting things, then this, you might want to fast forward to a different part of the video or not watch. But anyways, it was just like, you know, coughing and sputum and coughing and sputum. and I would, buy different cough medicine and cold medicines, and it didn't work. The cough was still there. And so I remember one day my dad brought home a cough syrup, and I'm saying, what is this cough syrup here? You didn't buy the right one. This is not for cold or for flu or whatever it is, And I said, you bought the wrong one. But I said, anyways, I was already sick, and it couldn't go back out at that particular time, so I decided to try it. And I'm telling you guys, I tried that cough syrup and it was like magic. It worked. And I'm saying, let me read the ingredients. Let me see, what is this? What is in this? And sure enough, antihistamine was in that cough medicine. And every time the time got cold or I started to cough a little or whatnot, then I would buy this cough syrup with the antihistamine in there. Okay? So fast forward to about a few months ago, I was having some issues. I'm having like a cough, cold symptoms, just coughing up, sneezing, mucus, and of course most of the time how it started off was like my nostril was just draining like a pipe. And then that turned to something else. Then it got to a point where my sleep was being interrupted. I got sick to the point where my sleep was being interrupted. And I'm telling you, almost every time, every night, a few minutes after I lay down, there's like, itchy, tickle, like if you have this tickling in your throat, and you just can't help but to cough. And it was getting so bad that those around me were started to be in discomfort, and they were saying, no man, something is wrong, you need to go to the doctor, something is wrong. And when I did go to the doctor would say, I said, I think I have postnasal drip, or I have some type of allergy thing going on. And okay, one doctor said to me, all right, let me give you, well, first when it first started out, I started to take things like this, like Dayquil, cold and flu, tablets like these. It would work for a little while, and then I would just like start getting sick. And I started taking, I realized that, okay, maybe allergies. So I started taking like Benadryl. But people, this worked. It worked for a good time, for a good while. But then it makes you so sleepy. Yeah, it works, but it clears up the the mucus and so on, dries it up, and but it makes you sleepy. You can't be working and have responsibilities and be taking Benadryl every 4 or 6 hours. This doctor, he said, okay, take a 10 mg, Claritin. He said a Claritin, or I don't remember the other brand. There was another brand. Was it Zyrtec? So okay, I tried the Zyrtec. The Zyrtec didn't really work for me, so I tried the Claritin, and the Claritin worked perfect. But they recommend that I take the let me see now. They recommend that I take the 1 a day Claritin. Wasn't really effective. So what I did was I started trying the 12 hours one, right? But I'm telling you, if you have other like health issues and so on, especially, like probably heart or whatever, the 12-hour Claritin is not gonna be good for you. Okay, so they said take the 24-hour one. The 24-hour one, I mean, it works for a while, but it doesn't last all day. And I'm saying I'm getting to my wits end now because I need some relief. It's now starting to affect my work because I cannot sleep. And when I get to work, it's just like, I mean, before I even get there, while I'm there too, I'm just like coughing, having to go to the bathroom ever so often to cough up, to blow my nostrils, and I'm saying no, something is wrong. So I went back to the doctor and I explained to him like I feel like I tell him that it's like a clear, I'm trying to explain to him the type of mucus, and he's saying, oh, come on, you don't know what a cold is? Have you never had a cold? And I'm like, I'm looking at him like, doctor, I've been on this earth for well over, 3 decades. I think I know what a cold is. But anyways, I didn't argue with him because he's a doctor and whatnot. I said, okay, some of the times they would give you antibiotics. You would feel okay for a little while and then you go right back. Some of the times you'll go and they won't want to prescribe the antibiotics because they're going to say that you don't have a cold or an infection, so they're not going to give you. So I went in they're not going to give you the antibiotics if you don't have an infection. So they checked my nostrils, checked my everything, and he said, this one particular doctor said, okay, so take that mask off, because I had on a mask because of the coughing, intermittent coughing, and so on. He says, you don't have any cold, you're not, you don't have an infection or anything. Take that stupid thing off, take that mask off. He said, you really do have allergy issues, because he checked up here, checked my nostrils, and said it has like a blue tinge. But anyways, he said, continue to take Claritin 1 daily and use this fluticasone spray. He said two sprays, I think it is, in each nostril once daily. And this thing works, but it works over a period of time. So within a couple of days, I started to, to feel better, and the coughing and the mucus was not as frequent as it was before, and eventually it started to really improve and go away. But you can't continue to take this because this is a steroid, and it will give you nosebleeds and whatnot. So I got scared and I said, I don't want to continue to use this, and I'm gonna get nosebleeds and stuff for it. But anyways, I think I also tried cough and chest congestion medicines. Nasal mist didn't really work. Cleared up the nostrils. Simply saline nasal mist didn't really work either, because it's really bad allergies. I'm getting to that point. So also tried loratadine and Ricola. These cough drops, I had to be feeding on them like literally every 2 hours. Sometimes I would try to push it for 3 hours or so, but I needed some relief, and I needed to be able to work without coughing like every 2 minutes. Yes, I had to, but even these, taking too much of these can make you cough even more. I started having trouble. I think how I started to really find out what was going on is that I had like tooth issue. I had a tooth to remove, and every time I did the x-ray, the doctors for the tooth, the doctors would say, it seems like you have an infection up in here, like some dark areas, like we can't even really tell what it is. But anyways, the dentist that I was with, referred me to an endodontist, because he said, okay, you're gonna have your tooth pulled, and wherever it is, it's a wisdom tooth, and we can't do that, because suppose you're gonna have to have oral surgery, so you need to see an endodontist. Anyway, so long story short, I went to the endodontist. The endodontist also did his x-rays and whatnot, side, front, but and he said, and he asked me, he said, do you have, like, I think he asked me, do you have yes, please bear with me, yeah, my storage is like filled up. Anyways, so he asked me, do you have any allergy issues? Have you been having any issue? And I said yes, and I've been going to doctor after doctor. They give me antibiotics, or they don't give me antibiotics, or they've given me this spray or that thing to take, and I'm taking a Claritin daily. So he says, you need to see an ENT specialist. Now, this is the second time a dentist is telling me that seeing air, seeing darkness around up in here. And he says, if after I pull your tooth, if you're having the same issues, then you're gonna have to see an ENT specialist. And I said, okay, thank you, because my doctor just seems to think that, oh, I'm having a cold. So I said, all right, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Myself, I looked in the directory and I found one, looked at all the information on him and how long he'd been practicing and some of the comments that he got and all that. So anyways, I made an appointment, booked an appointment, and went to see him. It took me a long time. I had to wait and suffer with the coughing and the spitting up. And every time it getting so bad, I had to run back to this. I went back to another doctor. Well, I changed my doctor, and when I went to another doctor, he told me that, okay, this is good, and he says use it until you get to your ENT appointment. Yes, I had to wait so long. Anyways, so eventually I went to this ENT specialist, and I didn't have insurance. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you, if you have bad allergies and you need help, you're going to need to get tested, and you're going to need to do tests for environmental allergies, for food allergies, and so on. It's a lot of money. So anyways, when I did go, I didn't have insurance at the time, and when they quoted the price, to me for just to do the tests alone, I had to forego the food allergy, because I told him, I said, I don't think I really have any food allergy issues. I know that I think cold weather tends to aggravate my sinuses, or my sinus allergies, or what I do say sinus allergies, because I just didn't know that it was just allergies and not sinus allergies. Anyways, I'm going to insert a couple of clips. If you're squeamish, do not look. It's just want to make you know that sometimes when I did my research, they told me that for allergy, the mucus is just plain, it's just clear, or it's like running out of your nose. Yes, that does happen initially, but sometimes when it gets bad, or you don't get the right treatment for it, it escalates and it gets worse. And I'm going to insert a picture and show you what the mucus looked like. If you don't want to look, don't look. But anyways, I'm going to insert it there. Yes, so eventually I got to the office there, and we were talking, and he says, okay, this is the amount of money that you're going to pay, so and so. So anyways, I decided I'm just doing the environmental allergy test. And he had this contraption, this thing that was just like this long. It's not really uncomfortable, but it seemed like it was going to be. And he inserted that into my nostrils and looked up there, and he said, oh my goodness, he said, you have been suffering. And I said, yes, thank you. Yes, I've been suffering for a long time. And he says, up here is white. And I had like a sheet of a piece of tissue in my hand at the time, because yes, I was still blowing and coughing up and everything. And he said, up here in your sinuses area here is as white as that sheet of tissue that you have in your hand. And I looked at him, I said, not really surprised. He said it's supposed to be pink. And he says, also I can see the tinge of blues would tell me that it's allergies. Anyways, he questioned me, and then he said, okay, for the amount of money, it was about $700 just to do that one environmental test. And I said I couldn't afford it, because I have to pay out of pocket, and I couldn't afford it to pay for he wanted me to get tested for the food allergy as well. So I just decided on environmental, because I thought that, depending on smoke, I know how I react to smoke. I have to start breathing when inhale smoke, or if the time got cold and so on and so forth, then I know that I had, like issues or worse issues. And especially, yes. So he scheduled they scheduled the test to be done, the environmental test, and settled on the agreement for the amount of money to pay, which I had to pay out of pocket. Very, very, very expensive, people. I would recommend that you try to do this test, try to get insurance, because it's going to be very, very expensive. Anyways, so I did that initial examination. He said it was not going to give me anything or treat me at that particular time, which I appreciated, because he says, I don't know what really I'd be treating. I don't know what is triggering or causing your allergies, and he says, sure enough, it is bad. And when he examined me, these adenoids here, I don't know, are they called adenoids? Yes, these fleshy things in your nostrils. He said on a scale of 1 to 4, yours is a 5. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Issues. I could tell, and every time I would have the issues, I would look up there and they're like swollen like this big. Anyways, fast forward to, I think, a couple of weeks, or was it a month after, when I went back for my follow-up visit to get the results. Yeah. When I went into him, he said, my dear, and this is the results. I'm not going to reveal where it is, but I'm going to show you, or I'm going to take a picture of it if you can't see it here. It says, your allergies have been evaluated and we found you to be sensitive to the following. And I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Anyways, I'm going to snap a picture of it and put it up on the screen just in case if it doesn't show. Dust mites, dust particles, weeds, grasses, trees, moles. And under here it says, please note, for the H there is highly allergic, M for moderately allergic, or L for low allergy. Now, as you can see, there are categories under all of these areas. See? Dust mites. 2 areas, the farina and the petronicinus. Can't even pronounce these, but anyways. And the dust particles under that, you have cockroach, cat, dog, horse. You have under weeds, pigweed, marshmallow ruff, lamb's quarters, cockerel, sheep. Anyways, I'll put a picture on the screen there so you can all see what I'm talking about. And for every single one of these people, 30 things they tested me for. And out of every single one of them, I had an allergy reaction. Yeah, every single one that I was tested for. And out of the 30, I tested highly allergic to one, which is under here. D. farina. Can't even pronounce it. So guys, do you understand now what I'm trying to tell you? How I was suffering. And I haven't even tested for food allergies yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if I have food allergies.